Welcome to the Emerge podcast, where Ronnie Doss shares insights regarding life, leadership, and personal development. For more of our resources, visit ronniedoss.com. Now, let's join the podcast.
Hi there, this is Ronnie Doss. My team and I are really excited that you decided to stop by. You know, I've spent the last decade working with individuals from all over the world to help them transform their thinking and enhance their life experience. Not only do I train teams at some of the most successful companies and organizations in the world, I offer coaching programs specifically designed for individuals much like yourself that are committed to increasing productivity and achieving personal goals. I've had powerful mentors along the way that have taught me principles that absolutely shifted how I was living my life, and those principles I want to share with you. My passion is people, and there's nothing more exciting than seeing a life transformed for the better. This is what I've decided to give my life to. So hop over to ronniedoss.com to check out some of the video programs I personally designed to help you build stronger relationships, improve your communication skills, and develop an intentional mindset. I know these resources will assist you in finding a greater sense of purpose, staying focused on what matters, and breaking through old mental barriers. Get ready. This is your time. So I want to talk really quickly in this episode about the focus on fame. The focus on fame. Like so many people are focused on becoming famous in some area, no matter what they want to do. Like people that became doctors, they wanted to be doctors to serve people, but then they decided because there was a few doctors that made it on television that then they needed to be a famous doctor or else what they were doing was insignificant and it didn't matter enough. It's really easy to fall into this thing of fame where we're chasing this dangling carrot of next level notoriety and recognition that maybe keeps us from seeing what it is that we need to see. You see, I think our focus sometimes overcompensates on one area, and that can cause us to remain blind in the area that needs some attention. You know, so if you're always focused on fame and that you're not enough until you get it, then you may not be putting the attention on the things that you need to put attention on, which could be your family, on your health, your mental health, putting focus on maybe your finances, maybe your daily routine, how you manage your time. These are the kind of things that I think need our attention. We tend to overcompensate, and when fame gets injected into the equation by a society that is always showing off all these people that are famous and what they have and what they've done, all you have to do is go on Instagram, go on social media, and start following some of these people that are then trending and look at what it is that they do and what they bring to their social media accounts that continue to project that they have their life figured out and they've got one more car, one more possession, one more bag, one more pair of shoes, one more piece of jewelry. And that pursuit, that positive pursuit of the next level so much can become a very negative experience that we have. You see, you've got to learn to bounce your eyes, and that is you put your focus on something that's going to fuel you to feel better about you, not worse. Now, there is a level of being and becoming that is burdensome. One of the things that I said to the teams I was coaching this morning is that you're not a little bit uncomfortable where you are. This temporary place can quickly become permanent. And if this temporary place becomes permanent, the next thing you know, you're frustrated with what you don't have, where you didn't go, right? And then you become resentful. Then that turns into regret. And the overall experience that you're having is just not a positive one. Now, that doesn't mean that everything has to be positive all the time, but I think if you develop more of a positive focus, you will find that there is more of a slant towards positive thinking. If you can get control of your focus, and if your focus is on fame, there's a quote that says, pray for anybody that wants fame and anybody that has it. Maybe instead of wanting to be famous, you'd ask yourself, if you were famous and you had more resources, what would you do? Because fame in and of itself doesn't make us complete. Look at the people that became famous and crashed and burned. Look at the people that committed suicide, overdosed. Look at the people whose lives tanked because they became famous and maybe they weren't ready for it. They got their 15 minutes or 50 minutes or 5 years or 3 months of fame and it just destroyed them. Maybe they didn't have the capacity for it. And so maybe instead of choosing to be a famous doctor, right, instead of being a famous celebrity, a famous athlete, maybe we focus on being a famous parent, a famous spouse, right? A famous son, a famous daughter, that we just do that so well because that is where the richness of life actually comes in. And maybe if we learn to do that well, then fame on some other level might come. But even if it doesn't, the existence and the experience that we've had has been a good one. Wouldn't that mean that we were doing some things well? Like, it's not always about getting to the mountaintop and looking down and going, oh, look at all the things that I overcame. It's like how you overcome things when you're in the moment. When you're just putting one foot in front of the other, getting control of your perspective and where you put your focus and how you talk to yourself along the way, isn't that what really makes for a really great experience? Because if you don't get control of that and you get fame, but you haven't learned to talk to yourself in a way that's honoring and loving and compassionate and maybe not so hard or harsh on yourself as you had been. Like, maybe you get the fame and you hadn't practiced on caring for yourself better and getting control of your perspective. Maybe you get the fame and that pressure, it provokes the old belief and the old mindset that you have of maybe you're not enough and you're unqualified. That becomes a pressure that can take a lot of people out. You've heard me say it before, you're not really blessed by what you get, you're blessed by what you can keep. Well, if you get some sort of fame and a level of success that you aren't prepared for because you haven't gotten control of your thinking, gotten control of your focus, focused on the right things that serve you, fuel you, and make you stronger, then are you really going to do well when you get the fame? Or are you just chasing something that's a diversion of your attention away from the things that you know you really need to do the work on? Like, that's something that's really worth looking at. Like, is your pursuit of something simply a diversion away from the thing that you know you need to pursue? The thing you know you need to put your energy into? Because to pursue something means you put energy into the thing that you're pursuing, that is the thing that you want. But maybe this pursuit of that big thing is causing us to overlook the small details, the intricacies of our life, that if we refined those things, that our overall life experience would be better. What if it's the small things that we learn to do very well that give us this feeling of a rich life? Maybe it's the things that we can't buy with money. Maybe it's the things that we don't have to chase down that actually can fulfill us. Maybe it's when we sit down and get present and take a deep breath and look at what we have around us. That's how our life immediately becomes richer, meditating on what it is that we have and what we're grateful for versus always being in this grind to chase some next level thing that may not show up. And all we've done is given ourselves wrinkles, gray hairs, and stresses that maybe we didn't need to have. Now you might say, well, Ronnie, what are you saying? You just need to be comfortable? No, what I'm saying is maybe you need to think about the example that you're setting for people that may be watching you. Maybe you have enough fame right now. Maybe there's enough people watching you that you need to do well with the fame that you have. If your kids are watching you, maybe you need to do well for them. And I'm not talking about doing well by stacking cash. I'm talking about doing well by learning to be present with them, slowing down just a little bit so you don't set the example that when they grow up, they never got enough attention, that they have to chase fame because they think that fame is going to give them the attention they didn't get then. We've seen that. Maybe it's the same with your spouse. Maybe you slow your roll just a bit. Stop chasing fame. Stop chasing what our society is trying to push on you and saying, well, once you have this, you'll be all right. Maybe you're all right here. Maybe it's just that you don't think you're all right because you've got your focus on something else. Like, there's this burden of being. You have to learn to be okay with where you are if you want to create something better. Now, that doesn't mean that you say, well, I'm completely obese, my finances are shot, my relationships suck, that I just need to be okay with that. Well, I'm not necessarily saying you have to be okay with that, but at some point, you got to neutralize the negativity enough to decide what it is that you really want to create. Not living from this place of reacting to some societal norm that's been pushed on us, that we have to be at the top of the mountain to ever be enough, that we have to be the one who's number one or we're forgotten. Maybe that's just phrases, things that people say. Maybe that's what people that were born with certain giftings, that they decided to be disciplined in that area and they became a great athlete. Great for them. Wonderful. But you're probably not going to be a gold medal Olympic athlete. Own that. You're probably not going to be a celebrity. Own that. You're probably not going to be a professional athlete. Own that. Maybe you could be a pro. Maybe you could become famous at doing life really well. And that if people got around you, they could see you and go, you know what? I like how they do their life. There's something about their relationships and their energy and what they bring to the table that I really respect. And probably that will include discipline. Like, we know that. Probably some time management skills. Those things can be worked. But chasing fame, I think fame fails. And so what are you trying to be famous in? Do you think you have to have a bigger house than your neighbors to be okay? Because I can tell you, I know lots of people with lots of big houses make lots of money. And they're not just okay with themselves. And that's a really rough experience to live your whole life never being okay. Like, it's the old saying, rest when you're dead. I get it. You're going to rest when you're dead. You don't really have any choice. But like, couldn't you create some thinking and some focus that allows your mind and your being to rest for just a bit, to where you feel rejuvenated and refreshed, so you could bring good energy to the workplace that you step into every week, that you could bring a good energy to the phone calls that you have with the people that you care about and your family? Don't you think you could rest and rejuvenate, being okay with where you are, giving yourself enough of a pat on the back to say, hey, I survived some things. I am here. This is not the end. I'm going to continue to grow, but I'm okay. I'm loved. I'm enough. I'm not going to compare myself to something that social media or the news media or all of these people that are so hungry for attention are trying to project. It's not a fair comparison. You're comparing apples to oranges. You look at what you see on TV and social media, and all these people are putting out what they want you to see. They're not telling you about all the struggles that they're having because they're so caught up in this thing of fame. Everybody wanting more and more and more. It's like it's never enough, right? It's never enough. Numbers, they'll never be enough. As long as you need more numbers, the numbers are not going to satisfy you. They're not. You've got to be okay and build from there. In doing that, I think you open yourself up. I think you create some space where better things can come into your circle and you can actually enjoy them. Because the question would be, what would be the point of getting them if you can't enjoy it anyway? What's the point of having a really great car if you don't appreciate the car? What's the point of having a really nice home if you don't appreciate it? What's the purpose of having a really great spouse, a great family, if you don't appreciate it? You see, our problem is that we don't appreciate what we have so much that we chase this next thing that we don't have. And then that just becomes the pattern where we chase and chase and chase, and we never catch it. We never catch it. You can't. It's a mindset. It's a pattern that has sunk into our thinking and into our being so much that we're missing this thing called life. Don't let the pursuit of fame cause you to miss the life that you have. Be famous at your life. Enjoy it. Put your focus on things that serve you, right? That are going to serve a better attitude for you, that you bring something better to those around you. Take care of you. And the fame and all the other stuff, it'll start to take care of itself. This is Ronnie Doss. You guys have an awesome day. I appreciate who you are. Share this with somebody. Maybe they need to hear that. Maybe they'll benefit from it. We've gotten so many great responses. Our numbers are up. We had our highest number last week of downloads in one day. We're really excited about that. So share this if you would. Blessings to you guys. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.